Hi everybody, it's Anne the Purple Goddess. I'm here with my magic wand, Purple Gloves, to have a special Tuesday time with you to talk about a tarot card. As you know, I like to talk about symbolic language, and we have a fabulous card today with so many symbols. I'm so excited. I don't know where to begin, but anyway, let's just talk about what's happening this week. On Thursday, we have a full moon in Leo, so wherever you are on the planet, I hope you get a chance to see the full moon. And the full moon is always about releasing and drawing down new energy from the strength of the moon to begin some new things. And with that in mind, we have a great card today. Are you ready? Now, this card is from the Major Arcana, and the Major Arcana are the cards that are in the cycle of life that we go through on the hero or the heroine's journey. And different cards are associated with different astrological signs. So I'm a Cancer, and the Major Arcana card for the Cancers is the Chariot. And the Hermit is associated with Virgo, and Temperance cards associated with Sagittarius, and so on. So the card we pulled today is a very dramatic card, and it's associated with the sign of Scorpio. And it is the Death card. Now, when I say to people in a tarot reading, at the beginning, I say, if you pull the Death card, it doesn't mean you're going to die. It means that there's a rebirth cycle in your life that you're either in the middle of, maybe don't even know it's happening, or it's about to happen. So this is about death and rebirth. And I want to talk about this fabulous card on all the symbols associated with it on both a political and a personal and spiritual side. So on a political side, I want to say that our culture is in kind of a death and rebirth cycle right now. So we've got a brand new administration in the United States, which is bringing about a rebirth, isn't it? And it's going to be just some very welcome changes. And I don't know if you had a chance to watch the inauguration, but it was really profound on so many levels. You know, a woman becoming vice president, and a young woman of color who gave a poem at the end. Was just spectacular, and the singing, Lady Gaga, blah, 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 it was all good. But you know, one of the best parts about it was the picture that's now gone viral in the universe of Bernie in his chair with, you know, mittens that a school teacher had knitted for him from Vermont. And there he is, ordinary mask, his, you know, kind of down-filled jacket, taking in, not making a big deal of it all. And of all the images of the inauguration, which one is going all over the planet? It's Bernie. And Bernie represents the ordinary person. And at the end of the day, life is, you know, sometimes it's spectacular, but the day-to-day is Bernie ordinarily, you know, just kind of getting through, and that we're all equal. It was a great equalizer, I thought, moment. So I'm hoping that there might be a picture, that picture of Bernie that might appear on the Purple Goddess page. But anyway, that's just for fun. Now, let's get back to the card. Death and rebirth. Where else on the planet are we experiencing kind of political rebirth? Well, you know, I have my younger brother, Peter, is doing an online course right now. And he says that the new way of asking people, even on a Zoom call, to introduce themselves as a way to begin to shift from settler colonial dominant mentality to something new is to ask people to say their name, and then to say what First Nations territory did they grow up near, and what watershed did they grow up near. Now, when you think about that, do you know what First Nations territory you grew up near, and what watershed you grew up near? That's a very interesting change that we can expect going forward in the future, that we will be introducing ourselves this way. So that's an interesting political change. That's a rebirth in our culture. I also recently I get the Toronto Life magazine. Oh, that's where I live. But this issue is all about COVID killed my business and now I'm a farmer. There's just all kinds of articles in this Toronto Life issue about people that have reinvented their life as a result of COVID. And they're surprisingly doing really well in various adventures that they never thought they would be in. So it's interesting, isn't it? Let's go back to the card. Now, the death card has got a lot of symbols. We've got a figure on a horse, and they are down to the bare bones of life. They're dead, almost dead. Not quite, but almost dead. And but they're carrying a flag. It's their standard. And on the flag are signs of a harvest. So they're bringing in some kind of harvest, but they've been stripped down to the bare bones in life in order to bring about the harvest. So where are you right now? Kind of feeling like you're barely hanging on, but you're in some kind of interesting transformation. And there are different figures on this card. And these figures represent different parts of ourselves, or at least that's one way of looking at it. We've got a bishop standing in front of the horse. And you can tell it's a bishop because he's got kind of this, what they call a mitre. And he's clapping his hands and saying, job well done. And so this represents our higher self, our divine self, that understands that at some level we have to change and grow. Sometimes people are alive, but they're dead, right? And change and growth and rebirth are part of what we sign up for when we come here on the earth plane. So here's, kind of a religious figure, that spiritual part, our higher self, our divine self, egging us on, saying, okay, you can do it. It's all good. And then there's, another figure that's kind of on the ground and their crowns falling off. Like sometimes when we're engaged in dramatic change, our ego has to go. Our stubborn way has to go in order to bring about new birth, new life, transformation. As this card's all about transformation. Our ego's kind of on the ground. Say, okay, down you go. Let's bring in something new, because unless we let go of old patterns and old ways of being, we're not going to bring about this beautiful transformation. There's also two children on the card. One is looking at the transformation in a very kind of positive light, and the other one's turning away. And so, in our culture, early on, we teach children that, they need to be afraid of death. And actually, it's great when we can teach children not to be afraid of death. And our inner child sometimes is just, pardon the pun, dying for us to be reborn, dying for us to kind of release them from the bondage that we've kept them in. They want to be free. They want to get on that horse, on that white horse, and keep going. So there's a helmet on this person, and it's sometimes referred to in the tarot as the magic helmet, a headdress of transformation. There's a river, and there's a little boat on the river, and the horse and the boat are going in the right direction, which means, we're on the right path, keep going. And there's this beautiful kind of sunrise at the back here, in those pillars which often appear in the tarot. And it's about paradise lost and paradise reborn. So it's about making space in your life for a new sunrise, whatever that might be. So it's interesting because in the lunar cycle of the year, the lunar cycle of the year was 13 months. And so we might think about January, if we're following the lunar cycle, as the 13th month. And February is the beginning of a new year. And next week, it's going to be Imbolc, which is February 2nd, Groundhog Day. And I'm going to do a whole different kind of video about Imbolc. But so this card is a reminder that we're still at the end of a cycle, the winter cycle, the crone, the elder, You know, we're in the still kind of coming out of the darkness in our life. And, but it's a profound card about, you know, bringing something to a conclusion. So what is it in your life right now that you're bringing to a conclusion? And how are you going to just keep going and keep that divine inner voice, you know, represented on this card by the bishop? Keep clapping for yourself. Because it's hard to be in that horse. But, you know, on the helmet is this beautiful red plume. And red is about passion. It's about transformation. And it's even the skull and crossbones that are on the horse are about renewal. So it's about death and rebirth. So wherever you need to die, old patterns, you know, relationships that no longer serve you, whatever it is, it's time to be reborn with the death card, which is also the number 13, which is again related to the lunar moon cycle. So I know everybody's been asking about the amaryllis bulb. Remember the little bulb I got at Christmas time? And this ugly thing. I had to put it in a pot. Well, here's where we're at today. Isn't this beautiful? Talk about, you know, birth. It's fantastic. So I'm going to hit the Tingshaw bell just once. And I want you to think about staying on the horse. You know, that passionate Scorpio drive and energy is with you. And when you see the full moon on Thursday, I'm going to hit it one more time. When you see that full moon on Thursday, get outside, appreciate it, let go, release, because new life is on its way for you and for the planet. Bye for now, till we meet again.